Hello, welcome to another episode of the Sacred Femme Alchemy podcast. I was initially about to say Shakti Soul Session series, but that ended last week. And we're here just dropping a weekly episode. And today I just feel so ignited to talk about this idea of mindset work. I did a little live about it. As you see, I am talking more and more about the somatic work in what I do. And I love guiding women to heal their relationship wounds, heal their family wounds, especially as they embark on this journey of really unleashing who they truly are to attract that beautiful, healthy, loving, secure relationship that matches them at emotional availability as well as the desire to commit. And this is just inspired from the things that I've been seeing. And it was funny because someone actually commented how they're seeing so much mindset work within the coaching community. And so this is actually going to me kind of just sharing my POV on what I see and how unethical I find some of these practices are. And I love EFT tapping. I love it. I use it for my own healing journey. I love it so much that I offer it a lot. I host EFT tapping circles, which you can do monthly with me. It's in a women setting and it's really beautiful. We tap on all these different wounds that we have and we learned to transmute them, heal them together, feel them. We don't bypass them. We are just in it. And I love offering these. So during the holidays, during this season, until the end of December, I am offering pay what you can 1 hour EFT sessions. And for anyone that has experienced my group sessions, always afterwards, they're like, damn, that was so good. I feel empowered. At first, I felt, a little anxious or I felt this density in my body. But as we go through it, I feel so much lighter. I feel like I'm moving all these layers of conditioning and narratives and beliefs that I'm holding in my body and releasing it with this beautiful practice. And then if we go deeper one-on-one, we get to work on your specific challenges, your specific blocks that are accustomed to you. So it's not cookie cutter. It's like you come to me with what's going on. And I was funny because I was talking about with my therapist. She's like, you are like cannibalizing people's pain points. You're cannibalizing their issues, their challenges, their emotions. Because what happens is I tap along with you and I lead you and I hold space for you and I'm the anchor for you in these sessions. And so I just mirror back to you all of these different things and that we work on that you tell me during the intake part of the session. And it's called surrogate tapping. And so maybe I might not have an issue with that challenge directly, or I'm not feeling it directly, but I'm still cannibalizing those emotions with you. And so my therapist is, girl, you should be charging more because we don't even know what these sessions are doing to your psyche. Oh, shit. I need a clearing of my own, And I do have this practice of being able to hold my own space before I do them and being able to release that energy from my body and just letting it pass through me. And so it's always important for me to have those sort of spiritual practices so that I can show up in a way that allows me to be present, that allows me to be grounded in this space and offer this beautiful modality, this beautiful healing session for all of you. And so if you are so curious about, oh my gosh, I want to know what this magic is. Like I've been experiencing, maybe perpetually in this toxic cycle or relationship and I want to just release it, or I want to release this fear. I want to release this fear and belief and that's blocking me from meeting the right person or believing that I can, then let's work one-on-one. And so these pay what you can sessions, I'm going to share them in the show notes, a link to book your call. And so you can experience that beautiful magic. But as I talk more about EFT and as I talk and I tout about just how transformative it has been, and I learned about this practice back in 2018? Yeah, I think 2018. And I loved it so much that I wanted to get clinically certified in it. And the reason why it works is not only because of science and, you're tapping on different meridian points of your body and you're sending signs to your amygdala that, hey, You can be calm. We're regulating your nervous system. You don't have to be in fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode. You don't have to be reactive. We're going to allow your nervous system to be calm. And so usually we start off each session saying, even though, I'm going to use this as an example, I have this fear of abandonment in relationships, I'm learning to accept how I feel in this moment. And so I'm seeing so much about mindset work. I'm seeing so much about mindset work and the coaching that I've been in, the spaces that I've been in. And frankly, I feel like it's a cop-out. That can be one tool that you use in your toolbox of repertoire or, plethora of whatever tools that you have, but it is not the only thing that's going to help remove those blocks. And I love that when I went on a live, someone commented and said, yes, embodiment of whatever you want to be isn't the way to clear stuff from your body. Like you have to energetically remove it. And that's why we have those really strong emotions, those strong reactions to certain things, because it lets us know that when we have this big energy around a certain situation, that we are being triggered. And when we're being triggered, if we're hysterical, it's historical. And so it is sort of this trauma response. And so it's important for us, especially as we do this work, to be very sensitive to who we're working with. And I just see so many coaches chalk it up as, well, it's mindset work. Think differently, be differently, you'll solve all the problems. So you have to understand that beliefs and narratives and conditioning is programming. And it's not just going to go away by doing this one journal exercise. It's not. You're going to need multiple of those journal exercises, probably for 10 plus years if you want to change, right? Because that's the thing. That's when imposter syndrome comes up. Right? And so it's hard because if people always tell, oh, it's the energy that you're in, it's not getting you this aligned action, blah, 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 blah. And you can't just think your way into healing. You have to feel your way into healing. And that's why I love EFT, because we don't bypass. We accept and we honor where we're at. We honor those fears. We honor those wounds. And to me, that is what I know as a beautiful descent of the goddess. I talk a lot about the dark feminine. I talk a lot about the goddess Inanna. I love working with the dark goddess Inanna. I love working with this and really understanding that this is our own descent to meet all of our wounds, all of our relationship wounds. And so by you going there every step of the way, layer by layer, reaching your own rings of like your own underworld, you are addressing these patterns head on. And this isn't about learning to be all lovey-dovey and then all of a sudden getting the results. No. It's like you missed 10,000 steps in between. And so it's honoring it. It's not bypassing it. It's actually facing it and having baptism by fire, right? And it's beautiful in its own sense, because a lot of the wounding that I see that stems from relationships happens from this feeling of, repressing certain things, repressing and censoring who you are. And if we censor our feelings and if we just try and manipulate it and change it and think that just by thinking differently, we're going to have different energetic results, that's bypassing. And I honestly think by selling that is actually unethical, because what it does in turn is makes you believe that there's something wrong with you. That if you can't just believe something and you can't embody it, then there's something wrong with you. And there is nothing wrong with you. And I'm here to tell you that because there is validity to your beliefs. You were conditioned to believe a certain thing. And so that's why what we're doing, especially when we work with EFT tapping, is we're learning to dislodge those residual patterning from your body. Because it's not just, you can't heal with just the mind. You have to heal with a body that also affects the mind, that also affects the spirit, that also affects your whole soul. You have to harmonize everything. And when you over-index on one thing, it creates this imbalance in you. And so I truly honor and I see you. And if you're just like, oh my gosh, I've joined all these different programs and everyone's just telling me to think differently, embody, I'm here to honor your experience and say, yo, girl, that's not you. I get it. I trust you. I believe in you. I see you. I understand your struggle. And I'm here to tell you that what you're experiencing is completely valid. And if you're open to a new way of experiencing healing in a somatic level of truly dislodging this emotional blueprint, this emotional energy from your body, try a EFT tapping. Try that 1-hour session with me. And so, as we're working through it, we experience all these different valleys. So in the beginning you have this density and you're just removing layers and layers of energy. And sometimes it might not take one session, right? I'm not going to bullshit you and say, oh, one session and you're done, right? I know there's a lot of unethical coaches who say they can promise you all these results in a short amount of time. And I want you to be very curious and also question the things that people are promising you. Question that, right? Question the results that they're trying to promise you. Question the way they coach you. I really invite you to do that. And sometimes what we see is gaslighting. Sometimes we see people who chalk it up to only mindset work. And I find that to be very reductive. I do. I find that to be very reductive. And so that's why it's so important to be trauma informed. That's why it's so important when you're learning to heal those deep relationship wounds that you understand that there's a sensitivity around it. And being really careful and treading with it, because it is painful. I'm not going to say, oh, it's so easy, It's like we go there. We feel those feelings. We honor ourselves. We honor the little parts of us. We honor our younger self, the little you that experienced maybe those fears of abandonment when you were younger. And we say, hey, I'm not going to abandon you. We invoke our inner mother. But it all comes down to this beautiful process and so many different elements, right? Of meeting ourselves where we are and accepting ourselves where we are, not trying to think I'm like a future person of who we're going to be. Okay, and so if you find that you're having trouble with just embodying the vision, just know that there's validity in that, right? Because sometimes if we can't see things with our own eye, to the physical eye, if we can't see healthy relationships, we're going to think it's not possible. We're going to think, well, I've never seen it, so I just don't know if it's true. And that's why I love EFT, because it allows us to accept those feelings. It allows us to accept those feelings of hopelessness and know if you try to manifest and honor those feelings or quote unquote lower vibrational energetic feelings, like it's going to take away the No, that's fucking bullshit. And you've been brainwashed to think that. That's just spiritual bypassing, and that's why I love this opportunity to see that as that part that needs more love. That dark shadow that needs more love, that needs more light to be pulled in. And we need to shine a light on that, because we can only meet our lightness when we meet our darkness. We can only feel that beautiful love and feel whole when we've met ourselves and believe that we are whole. And so the beauty of EFT is that we have this transformation and we start to honor those feelings of where we're at. We don't try to change it. And over time, we just start to believe differently, right? Over time, we start to believe differently. We start to go there. We start to go inside. And we start to work with it. We start to dismantle it. And we start to expand the way that we think. But it comes with the contraction as well, but just notice the biggest expansion starts with the biggest contraction. It's sort of like a slingshot, right? Feel that contraction back and it just propels you forward. Those forward leaps. And so I just want to honor that. And that even though maybe you've tried a lot of just processing and talking and you're like, why am I still in my relationship wounds? Sometimes it just helps to add another tool. Sometimes it helps to add another modality, another way where it's just not processing in that sort of traditional way, but processing in a way that allows you to extricate that heavy shadow in your heart, that heavy shame in your heart, that density in your heart, and just pluck it from there and remove it so that you can believe to take those aligned actions. Because then once you do, that's when the embodiment can come. And the more that you do this work, the more that you start to meet your shadows, the more that you start to look at those part of you that you feel like, oh, it's so icky. I don't want to show this to anybody. I'm scared. the more you start to realize that there is so much to love. And I know in relationships, we just want that unconditional love. But I'm inviting you and I'm asking you to step into that role for yourself of how can you meet yourself and love yourself unconditionally? What does that even look like for you to love yourself unconditionally? What does it look like to know those things about yourself and still love you anyway and know that you're not going anywhere? Like, how beautiful is that? How beautiful it is to be in that space. And so this one got me a little riled up, but I just kept, I just really wanted to talk about it because I've been seeing it a lot. I've been seeing it in different coaching. I've been seeing it in different programs, even ones that I'm in, where it's just like mindset work. And I feel like there's a whole piece that's just completely missed and frankly insensitive. And so I just wanted to share my own point of view. I have a really strong point of view about doing the work that's necessary to handle these woundings and being sensitive to this idea of what embodiment is, because it gets thrown around all the time in the coaching community. And don't even get me started on like the promises that people try to tell you. Like, you just always have to look at everything with caution of what you're reading. Okay? And so I invite you to book a session with me. I would love, love, love to work with you one-on-one. I also have not only just pay what you can EFT sessions for the holiday season, but I have spots available for my one-on-one coaching. And this is where we get to really go deep. And so I'm super excited to serve you, to be with you, to heal those relationship wounds, to help you embody that beautiful self-love that's within you so that you can attract those emotionally available, healthy, loving relationships that mirror your worth and value and desire commitment as well. And I'm so passionate about it because I want to create different family blueprints. I want to create different family paradigms and bring healthy children into this earth. Right? That's the why behind it for me. And so if you're ready to release all of those woundings, you're ready to release all those patterns, reach out. I'm here for you. All right, Sat Nam.